explorers, welcome to today's Explainer, where we are turning textbook science into the ultimate biological survival game. Think of it like entering the biggest, most complex survival world ever created, the ecosystem of Earth. We're going to look at a perfectly balanced, high-stakes environment where every single living and non-living thing plays a crucial role. Can we survive if plants disappear? What happens if an entire food source is deleted? Well, whether you're gearing up for a big test or you just want to understand the incredible biological machinery happening right in your own backyard, you are definitely in the right place. Let's find out how it all works.
Here is your mission briefing. We need to unlock 5 specific knowledge blocks to truly master how our environment functions. We've got Level 1, ecosystem players, Level 2, character classes, Level 3, food chains and steps, Level 4, the 10% energy rule, and finally, Level 5, food webs and biodegradation.
Okay, let's jump right into Level 1, ecosystem components and players. You really can't win the game if you don't even know what's on the board, right? So every ecosystem basically boils down to 2 main types of components. First up, we've got the biotic factors. Bio means living, so this is our living, interdependent community. We're talking plants, animals, and even those tiny microbes that all rely on each other to survive. But hey, they don't exist in a vacuum. They are constantly interacting with the abiotic factors. The A means non-living, so this is the physical environment. Think soil, water, air, light, and temperature, plus those absolutely crucial inorganic substances like carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and oxygen.
Picture our game's players interacting in real time. We have our biotic factors, living things like bacteria, fungi, plants, and animals, and they're up against the abiotic factors, the physical elements like salinity, minerals, temperature, and humidity. It's this constant, dynamic interaction between the living organisms and their physical environment that literally creates an ecosystem. Together, they create balance.
Moving right along to Level 2, producers, consumers, and decomposers. Now that we've got the map figured out, it's time to pick our character classes. We need to know who makes the food, who eats it, and honestly, who cleans it all up.
Let's compare the main classes in this survival game. First, we have the autotrophs, or as they're commonly called, producers. These guys are the absolute MVPs of the ecosystem because they literally synthesize their own food. Green plants and certain blue-green algae pull carbon dioxide and water straight from the environment, and they use solar energy from the sun to create organic carbohydrates. It's basically a superpower. On the flip side, we have heterotrophs, or consumers. This includes all animals, us humans included. We can't make our own food, so we are entirely dependent on consuming others to survive. We get our energy either directly from plants or indirectly by eating the animals that ate those plants.
But wait, whatever you do, do not forget the cleanup crew. I'm talking about the saprotrophs, or decomposers, organisms like bacteria and fungi. Here's a massive exam point for you. When producers and consumers die, these decomposers step in to consume their remains. Without them, dead bodies would just pile up. They are the ones responsible for recycling and returning vital elements back into the Earth's nutrient pool so the producers can use them all over again. All right, Level 3, food chains and trophic levels. We've got our players, we've got our classes, but how does energy actually move between them? Let's map out the steps.
Energy flows linearly through what we call trophic levels. Just think of them as stepping stones of energy. At the first trophic level, you have your autotrophs, the producers fixing that solar energy. Move up a step to the second trophic level, and you have herbivores, the primary consumers eating the plants. Step up again to the third trophic level, and you find small carnivores, the secondary consumers. And finally, at the fourth trophic level, you hit the big guys, the larger carnivores or tertiary consumers.
A food chain basically shows who eats whom, tracking the specific flow of food energy step by step. The sun gives energy to the producer. The producer is eaten by a primary consumer, like a giraffe or a human. And then a higher level consumer, like a tiger, eats the primary consumer. Ultimately, the decomposers break them all down, returning those nutrients to the soil to grow more producers. It is just a continuous flowing chain.
Warning, guys, we've hit Level 4, energy flow and 10%. Boss level mechanics ahead. We really need to talk about energy limits and why survival gets so much harder the higher up you go in the food chain.
Okay, here is a massive exam power-up for you to lock in. While green plants capture just 1% of the sunlight energy that hits their leaves, only a strict 10% of organic matter actually transfers from one trophic level to the next. To understand that 10% rule, just imagine an energy pyramid. If you start with 1,000 pounds of phytoplankton at the bottom, it only transfers enough energy to support 100 pounds of zooplankton. That only supports 10 pounds of small fish, which leaves enough energy for just one single pound of a top predator, like a shark. Crazy, right? Why does that happen? Because a massive amount of energy, like 90% of it, is lost as heat to the environment, or it's used up for digestion and movement at each step. Just keep dividing by 10. This massive energy loss is exactly why food chains rarely exceed 3 or 4 levels. There just isn't enough energy left to keep going. And we've made it to our final stage, level 5, food webs and biodegradation. Let's look at how everything interconnects in the real-world survival game of Earth, because, let's face it, nature rarely operates in a simple, straight line. While a basic food chain is linear, a real ecosystem relies on a food web. In reality, animals eat many different things. An organism usually gets its food from more than one source, and is in turn eaten by several different kinds of predators. This creates a complex series of branching lines. This is incredibly important because a food web gives organisms more access to food, improving their adaptability and competitiveness. It means more stability. If one food source dwindles, they can rely on another. And when the game finally ends for an organism, biodegradation kicks in to complete the entire cycle. Plants and bacteria get to work on biodegradable waste. They can break this down aerobically, meaning with oxygen, or anaerobically, without oxygen. This natural degradation process transforms waste into incredibly useful resources, like biogas, which can be used as fuel, and rich residue that acts as manure for the soil. Literally nothing is wasted. To wrap up today's explainer, I want you to lock this vital quote into your memory chest. Ecosystem functions as a self-sufficient or independent unit in nature. Really think about that. The entire ecosystem is perfectly balanced to sustain itself indefinitely, requiring only a constant input of sunlight and a closed, endlessly recycling loop of nutrients. Which leaves us with this final, provocative thought. If nature has perfected these rules over millions of years, building a flawless, self-sustaining loop, what are the consequences when human actions disrupt this delicate web? What happens when human interference accidentally deletes an entire trophic level? The entire system shifts, things become unstable, and survival becomes a very, very different game. Every single organism is important. Keep exploring, keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.